Welcome back to another episode of the Hardcore Casual with your boy, Bass the Kid. I'm going to keep this one real brief. I've got a few things to sort out just before I head up to Wembley for the Boxer Fight Night card. A couple of things that I've seen over the last couple of days that I thought I just wanted to give a quick shout on. Please, as always, like, subscribe and share. Without further ado, let's get into it. So I've seen a couple videos and comments on Twitter and stuff that's circulated recently just regarding the fact that the Anthony Joshua and Jermaine Franklin card hasn't sold out yet at the O2 Arena, and saying, well, look, he used to be selling out stadiums within a day and a half. 3 days later, a 20,000 seater arena is still got spots left. Now, on the surface, I could say, yeah, that looks like a damning indictment of just how far his stock's fallen. You could look at it that way. You could also look at it from a perspective of, well, look, it's cost of living. The time of which these tickets have come out, remember, it's not payday for a lot of people yet. If it had come out maybe 2 weeks ago, you might have seen a different trajectory, because people are paid at that point. They'll spend their money at the start of the month, and then you got to figure out how you're going to survive afterwards if you live paycheck to paycheck or on the breadline, or however that may be. From what I can tell, I think the majority of the cheap tickets are all gone, and it's pretty much now just some of the £200 and £300 ones that are still available, and £400. Now look, those prices was always going to be a difficult sell, but I reckon probably come the end of the month it will all be sold out. But there's also another reason why I think that this hasn't sold out particularly well, and it's not because people aren't liking the opponent of Jermaine Franklin. I actually think it's because prior to purchasing the tickets, it quite clearly states on the website, no resale available for this fight. Which basically means if you buy tickets, you can't transfer them to other people. So you can't buy the tickets and then try and sell them on for a premium once the show's, sold out, which is what a lot of ticket touts do. We've seen it in other AJ fights previously. We've seen it most recently in the Tyson Fury stadium fights at Tottenham Hotspur and Wembley, where, there was numerous tickets on secondary market the day after they had quote unquote sold out, and you was like a good 5, 6, 7, 8,000 tickets on sale there, probably even more, to be honest. I didn't check all the sites. So I think in that sense, that's another reason why it hasn't sold out yet, because obviously those people who would normally buy in bulk and then try and make a little change on top can't do that. So they've left theirs alone, which means that the people who maybe can't afford to purchase them right now have just got a little bit more time where they can actually, take their time, get some money at the end of the month when they get paid or whenever their payday is, and then probably purchase a ticket. Now, maybe more expensive than the sections they were hoping, but it is what it is. And I guess ultimately, if it doesn't sell, to me, that's also a good thing, because that then means that AJ's next fight also will be part of the normal subscription, even if it's Dillian Whyte in a stadium. I feel like that will still end up being on the regular DAZN subscription without the pay-per-view need for that one. So to me, it's kind of a win-win. And again, it also means now that without the ticket touts, you get to kind of see what his market value truly is. So if it sells out in a week and a half, if it sells out at the end of the month, then we say, okay, people just needed to wait till they got their money. If it doesn't, then it means that, okay, he's dipped down, but then we don't have to pay pay-per-view for him again, and we still get the same subscription model. So like I said, on the surface, I can't say that it looks great that he didn't sell out in an hour, especially if it's only 20,000 tickets. But that being said, to me, I feel like it's better for everyone else involved, myself included. I mean, luckily for me, I don't have to go via AXS to get my tickets if I want to go to the event. But I'm gonna leave that between me and whoever else knows. But yeah, so yeah, look, overall, I mean, it's not the greatest, but it's also not that bad either, and there is a silver lining in it for the consumer. So yeah, them's the breaks, I suppose. I also want to touch on this one quickly. I won't spend too much time, but Alexander Gvozdyk is actually making his return. I believe it's tonight in California against, I can't remember the guy's name, but I think his record is something like 20 wins, 39 losses and some draws or whatever. Now obviously, look, this isn't the kind of guy, I guess, that's gonna be on the level of Gvozdyk. Like, anyone who knows Gvozdyk knows that he was a truly elite level light heavyweight, you know, but he's been out of the ring for almost 4 years, and I think part of that reason that he's coming back is due to, he said that, you know, he lost a lot during this Russia and Ukraine war. So whether that's like in terms of personal belongings or like maybe financial establishments or businesses that he might have had, or even maybe just mentally or from a will perspective. But he said he also wants to come out and now, you know, wave the flag of Ukraine again, you know, through boxing and whatnot. So he said, look, he wants to see how he feels after this fight, but ultimately he wants to go for like the big dogs. He wants to, you know, fight the top guys in the division afterwards. Now, I made a comment on Chris Andre's channel from a video I think he put up on Thursday, where I said, if I was Anthony Yarde and that team, I would be calling for a Gvozdyk fight as soon as he's had this tune up. I want Yarde to face Dan Aziz next for obviously the British Commonwealth and also the European after Dan takes that in March. Have that fight sort of in July time. But if he can fight Gvozdyk after that, maybe, or even maybe you do Gvozdyk first and then, you know, have Dan Aziz fight like later on in the year, or swap it around, whichever way. But I reckon, coming off of obviously the loss that he's just had with Artur Beterbiev, everyone's saying, oh, his stocks rose, but he still needs that signature, that credible win. Now, someone like Gvozdyk, who is a proven elite level talent, maybe he might not be elite in terms of skills right now, but he's definitely going to still be world class. So that's a scalp on your CV that looks good, and I feel it's attainable. He's been out the ring for 4 years, so as good as he may be, like we have to imagine that you are better prepared at this point than any other point. So yeah, I mean, look, it's a bit cheeky trying to, you know, catch him coming off of a layoff, but needs must. And ultimately, you'll still learn a lot from that fight if you win it, even if he is off a layoff, because he's not going to be a scrub. Besides, he's 35, turning 36 this year, I believe. So, you know, he's at that ripe age where he's going to be on the back nine anyway. So those 4 years out the ring, there could be a lot of greasing of the tires and you know, all the cogs that needs happening before he even gets into a good enough rhythm to be back at the upper echelon level where he was. So to me, it makes a perfect sense for Anthony Yarde to try and do that. And if I was him, Tunde, Frank Warren, or whoever else, I would definitely be calling for Gvozdyk's name after this weekend. But yeah, that's just me. Let's see what happens. And last one before I get out of here. So it looks like Josh Taylor is potentially having a consultation around a potential fight with Teofimo Lopez to take place around sort of the May-June time. Now, this pretty much looks like it's the end of the Jack Catterall saga. I know Jack Catterall's going to have a fight on the 25th of March. It was supposed to be, I guess, a keep busy while Taylor recovered from whatever injury he's supposed to have had. Some fascia injury of his foot. I don't know if paperwork has been served for that as of yet. But him versus Teofimo Lopez. I mean, look, it's a good fight, to be honest. But Teo's not in the greatest of ways at the moment, and we don't exactly know where Josh Taylor is in terms of his abilities currently. You know, he's been out of the ring, by the time this fight would happen, would have been almost a year and a half. Teo has obviously come off some very difficult fights of recent note, maybe very poor mental health also at present. So it may be a better fight for Josh but some people saying, oh well, how can it be a step backwards, because Tio was a former unified champion at lightweight, which is true, he was, but Jack Catterall is a natural 140 pounder, which means he's much naturally bigger, you know, sort of stronger, I guess, and is more proven at the weight, who was obviously robbed of a decision previously. And it looks at this point as if Josh Taylor doesn't want that fight. Now, to be honest, I thought he didn't want that fight from last year. The fact that they signed on to do the rematch, I was surprised, you know, but, you know, gave up all those belts just to say, okay, yeah, I'm going to run it back with this guy, to now almost be moving away from him again. Jack Catterall can't wait for him. He's going to have to start paying some sanctioning fees to the other bodies though, because I think he only pays for the WBO, and that's the belt that Josh has got left. So he's probably, unless he gets a mandatory, he's not going to get back to that position. So if I was him, I'd probably look to go WBA, IBF route, and see if you can get like Alberto Preo or someone like that, and see if you can maybe get a voluntary through that PBC affiliation, or, you know, see if Boxer can do anything for you. Personally, that's the best choice, but it looks like you've got Teofimo ducking Regis Prograis, and you've got Josh Taylor ducking Jack Catterall, so maybe the two sets of those can meet. Actually, I mean, look, I don't think Regis Prograis is the right person for Jack Catterall to try and fight. I do think that will end very, very badly for Jack, but ultimately you've got Regis with Probellum with no promoter, realistically, and you got Jack Catterall with Boxer. We know the PBC don't necessarily work with other people, so those two belts may be hard to get. And then you've got this WBO situation with Josh Taylor, which looks like that fight ain't never going to happen again unless you fight yourself into a mandatory position. So realistically, maybe you just gotta go for glory with Regis and pray it's your night, but that's a prayer that I don't think will be answered, quite frankly. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. I got to rush off. I'm heading up to Wembley shortly, so I've got to go pick some people up and then make my way up there. So please, as again, like, subscribe and share. I hope you've enjoyed. Leave your thoughts down below. Please, I do want to hear what you guys have got to say. But thank you very much. Weekend wrap will be up tomorrow. And as always, it's the Hardcore Casual, out.